Good morning or good afternoon, all. This is our live session of Facebook Live. Today's session, you will not see me, you will only hear me. We will give everybody, obviously, some time to get logged in here. Still 6 minutes until 11 o'clock. And I will continue to give some updates before we actually go live. So we'll give it a few more minutes. Alright, just for those of you guys just now joining, a reminder, you will not see my face today, you will only hear me. You should see the new driver app, though, when you get logged in. We still had a few more minutes before we start. Alright, we got about 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. Give everybody a little bit more time to get logged in. And hopefully those of you that are already logged in can actually hear me just fine. Josh or Miguel, Those of you guys that can actually hear me, hopefully the volume is good. Thanks, Josh. All right, about 30 seconds and we'll get started. And again, for those of you just getting logged in, again, you will not see my face today. You will only see the driver app. And between myself and Gannon is in the background to help answer some questions and send me questions as they come in. We're hoping for some feedback as we go through this and questions. So feel free to ask away as we're going through this. And I will also talk about some feedback that we've already received as well. And we'll go over that. So give it about 30 seconds here and we'll get started. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. It's 11 o'clock. Thanks again for all you guys that were able to join us today on Facebook Live. Hope you're safe out there. The normal disclaimer again, if you're driving, please either put the phone down and watch this later or find a safe spot to park. We definitely want you to stay safe out there. Don't need any other accidents or tickets or anything like that. So be safe and let's get started. So today's Facebook Live is in regards to the driver app. Gannon already did a video a while back, probably late December, early January timeframe, kind of introducing the app, all the abilities that are currently available on the app, some of the things that are coming up in the future. Which I'll also discuss today as well. But today's Facebook Live is more about the scanning abilities. There's been a lot of confusion lately in terms of when do I scan a document or where am I supposed to scan it? Do I use a direct scan or this blue button that you currently see on the screen right now? Do I use that button? How do I get it to certain people? Stuff like that. So I want to discuss specifically the scanning features of the app and the differences. So I'm going to first talk about the differences. The first one is the direct scan. So you'll notice there's the direct scan button here on your app. And forgive me here, let me go back to my screen here. Some of you guys will quickly notice that there's a list of items that is going to be different than your list of items. That is because I'm in the development area of our app where we try to help produce more things for the future and whatnot. So there will be things missing from your app today. Don't be scared. That is completely normal. So the direct scan feature, you'll notice here that we've put in some options where you can scan directly to your driver manager, to safety, to the CSR team, and so forth. We will probably add to this list in the future. And I say future, I mean the very near future, as the need becomes greater for specific departments to have that. Having said that, these documents go straight to a PDF format and get sent to that individual person or people depending on which department it is you're choosing. And today I want to talk specifically about the driver manager or bill of lading documents specifically. As you guys are going down the road, there's times where you need help with, or actually before you actually leave the shipper, you need help with placarding a load. And so they ask you to scan your documents in. And so you might come in here and you might hit my driver manager or safety, and you send those documents in. And then they help you with your placards, and you're able to get on the road, and you're going down the road and you get to the drop yard. And what happens is when you get to the drop yard, you're like, okay, well, I'm done with my load. Now I need to send my documents in again, so that way billing has those documents. Well, the whole point behind scanning the documents is to make it easy for you. As you guys have already experienced, you might have 5 pages, you might have 50 pages. It all depends on the load that you're hauling and whatnot. So we're trying to make this a lot easier. Now, this isn't going to cover 100% of the scenarios out there, but it should cover over 90% of the time of your scanning needs. If you are going to scan the paperwork in, and you're trying to scan in your bill of ladings because safety needs them, or someone like your driver manager needs them to help you with your placards, or whatever the case is, someone is asking you for a copy of your bill of ladings. All right. When you click on this Scan Documents button for this load, now again, this is just a dummy load, but it's the same exact features. When you click on this blue button, it's going to give you a list of all the different bill of lading, 1907, the doc types that you can choose from. And when you look at this, most people will default to, well, it's a bill of lading, so I'm going to click on bill of lading and scan that in. But here's the difference between bill of lading and the unsigned document. The bill of lading is when you are actually going to deliver the load. If you know you are the final driver of that load, you would hit the bill of lading button and then scan all your bill of ladings accordingly. Now, some people will say, well, what about the 1907? The same thing would apply on military freight when you have a 1907. But if you have a load that you're going to take and drop in a drop yard, whether it be a safe haven for a military load or the Joplin Yard or any other drop yards out there, and you are not going to deliver that load, all of your bill of ladings would be classified as an unsigned document because you're not getting the carrier or the consignee to sign that document, right? So you would come down here to the bottom and you would click on unsigned documents, and that's what you would scan everything in as. Now, I say everything, I should back up. All of your bill of ladings would be considered unsigned documents. If you still have a permit, or if you happen to have a toll or a weight scale ticket, you would still use the appropriate doc type for that particular document. But all of your bill of ladings, you would click under unsigned documents and you would send that in. All right. Now, the reason why we're telling you this is because this would allow you, again, 90+% of the time, to only have to scan in your documents one time. If your CSR or someone else says, hey, can you send me the documents, and you come in here and you click on driver manager, for instance, or safety, whichever, and you go to driver manager and you come through here and you start taking your pictures, right? You take picture 1, 2, 3 and you send it. Well, then what happens is you send it to the correct people that need it, but then you're also requested again when you're done with your load to send those documents again. And so why do double the work? Internally, we've made it so that each one of those departments can see those bill of ladings, those unsigned documents, those toll receipts, those whatever it is you're trying to scan in for the load-specific items. We've given them the ability to see those documents and have access to those documents. So this will allow you to scan it one time and allows them to see it and still help you out when it comes to your placarding needs or something that is bill of lading related. Now, someone asked me, well, Chris, what if I still have to scan in my driver's license? Okay, perfect. For right now, you would come in, click on this safety button, scan in your driver's license and send it to safety because that's who's requesting. No problem. That is not load related at this time, or actually will never be load related. So you would come in, hit the safety button, scan in your driver's license, or scan in, again, whatever that is not load related to that particular department, whether it be safety or maintenance or whatever the case might be. All right. Some people also asked about payroll. What about, receipts? Well, again, if you are scanning receipts, you can come into to the load that receipt applies to, click on your scan documents, and you'll notice that there's the receipt button right there, kind of in the middle towards the bottom, that you would hit and scan in your receipt for that specific order that it applies to. Now, obviously, if payroll or billing is saying, well, hey, I didn't get documents for load 1, 2, 3, but you did that load a week ago or 2 weeks ago, no problem. You'll come in here and you'll notice I'm scrolling down so it shows in the middle of your screen. You'll see where it says View All Loads. You click on that, and this right now is the current load list that you're either currently dispatched on or pre-planned on. If you click on View History, you're going to see a list of every single order that you've done, and then you would just scroll down until you find the load in question that billing is asking you to send paperwork for, or payroll for a receipt, or again, whatever the question happens to be. You find that load, you click on it, it brings up the information, it just kind of verifies that this is the one that you're looking for, and then you'll scroll down, hit your Scan Documents button, and again, you go through the same exact procedure that you would if you were scanning your current documents in as well. The other thing I'll mention is that hopefully in the next couple of days, and that could carry over to Monday, Tuesday, we're not 100% sure. Some of you may have noticed, and I'm saying on this screen on purpose, if you look at this first order, there is a green paperwork symbol right underneath where it says order number. And the next load down is actually orange to include all the other loads below that are also orange. What this means is that we have implemented something where it says, hey, if you're driver 1 of that load, meaning that you're not going to deliver the load, the system is going to be looking specifically for you to scan in unsigned documents because you're not delivering the load. And when you scan in, let's say, for instance, unsigned documents, and you're done scanning, this placard would go from orange to green saying, you're good to go. You've scanned in your documents. And if you accidentally scan in bill of ladings instead, then it would be incorrect. It would stay orange until you scanned in the unsigned documents. The same thing would apply if you're the delivery end of things. If you scanned in bill of ladings, then it would turn from orange to green, saying that you're good to go, you've scanned in your documents, you're all set. Or if you accidentally scanned in only the 1907, but you didn't scan anything under the bill of lading because you were delivering the load, you just forgot, it would stay orange until you scan that in. Now, again, that part of it is not quite yet into place. There's a fix coming in that'll turn those placards from orange to green, and that also doesn't resolve in the event that you scan in 2 out of the 3 pages, and then billing is asking you for that 3rd page, because we're not going to know if you have 3 pages of documents or 10 pages of documents. We just know that you're required to send in some paperwork. So billing is still going to be that final piece to say, yep, I got it all, you're good to go, or no, driver, can you send me that last page again, or whatever the case might be. There's still going to be that final piece of that. I'm going to go back here. And then there's a to-do list. Now, currently, some people have already said this. We've received feedback on this. There's that crossover time from when you were using the old Drive Axle app to the new current driver app. You probably have sent in paperwork for load 1, 2, 3, and load 4, 5, 6 already, and then maybe just today you signed into the driver app and you started sending paperwork in, and all of a sudden you saw there were some to-dos for your old loads that you've already scanned paperwork in. you just didn't use the driver app. That is fine. We're not requiring you to resend that paperwork in, okay? There's going to be some crossover time that's going to happen, and you're going to see to-dos. All we're requesting you to do is just, if billing is asking to send the paperwork in, because maybe you didn't do it yet, go ahead and use the new driver app. If you know for sure you've already sent it in, don't worry about it. Just leave it alone. Gannon and I are working on resolving that issue, and it may just be a matter of time where it just kind of comes off of the list, but we're working on that solution as we speak, and hopefully we'll be able to roll something out to you guys very, very soon. So as far as scanning is concerned, we're trying to make it easier for you. We know currently, even if you got 50 pages or 100 pages of documents, there really is no easy way. No matter what, you're still scanning you're still taking a picture of each individual document, and we know that's a hassle. But if we can make it so you only have to do it one time, obviously that'll save you at least a little bit of time, and that's ultimately our goal, is to help you scan it once. It resolves your need, it resolves billing needs, and it also helps you if you need placarding help or whatever the case is, it resolves that need as well. So hopefully I've explained the difference between direct scan and when to use the scan documents button. 90+% of the time, you're going to want to use the scan documents button, the little blue button on your order, to send anything related to your bill of ladings, to your order, and whatnot. And again, I'm not saying don't ever use direct scan. I'm just saying you would probably not use direct scan as much as what people thought they were going to use it for, because if you do use this, you're going to have to scan the paperwork in twice, and you probably don't want to do that. Okay? So I think I spent enough time on that particular scanning feature. I do want to answer any questions if we have any. I'm looking through. When will has permits be updated? Good question, Melissa. So we've been in contact with safety. They should be updating those relatively soon. We've got to take the old ones out, put all the new ones in, and hopefully very, very soon you should see an update on that. We'll probably send something out in the news on the driver app, which is located right there at the very top of your app when there is new news, when those permits are updated. So look for that very soon. It should be coming across. The other thing I forgot to mention is that there's been some feedback in terms of drivers using the direct scan button. They said that, hey, I sent in 7 pages to my driver manager, and they're telling me they can only see 1 or 2 pages. It's like an error. There's a fix going into place, again, in the next, hopefully in the next 24, 48 hours. Don't quote me on that, but we're hoping that fix will get put into place in the development area. It is fixed. We're just trying to get it pushed out into the live environment so you guys can do that. And to include, it will turn into one PDF document, easier for the person receiving the document to also view it. So that fix should be in place as well, or coming very soon, I should say. I don't see many questions at the moment. I know we have about a 15-second delay. So the second part of the Facebook Live was just to kind of quickly go through some feedback that we received from some drivers. Gannon and I continuously have been receiving feedback, and we appreciate each document you guys send us. We do try to answer each and every one of them, even if it is just a thank you for sending us some good comments about it. We are looking at them. We are trying to address issues that you do see on it. So I just want to quickly go through just a small handful of these so you guys know this. So we had one feedback that said, can we add location codes, special instructions, pickup numbers on there? And the answer is yes. That's actually something that we are looking into. It's part of our second phase to hopefully roll out. When it comes to location codes, we're talking about our original goal was to roll out our terminals and our yards. where you can drop loads and stuff like that. It wasn't, the plan was not to include every single location code in our system though. Special instructions, pickup numbers. So pickup numbers, depending on how the load is built, should already be coming across to you. Special instructions is a very vague term that could include directions or anything else. So we are looking at that, but we have to be careful in terms of what we're sending you guys on the app. So it is something we're looking at, but it is much more detailed than just to say, go pick up a flatbed trailer, for instance. Let's see, we got another comment here. So what happens when you're on load 1, it doesn't show on the app? Good question, Adam. So here's the answer to that. The driver app is looking for some specific details, and one of them happens to be when you accept a load. Now, majority of the time, you'll send a macro 1 which is the dispatch confirmation saying that you've reviewed the load and you're good to go on it. And you send it in and it marks in the system. As soon as that step happens, it will show up on your app. Now, the follow-up question to that is, well, Chris, I was in the truck. I was on home time. My DM called me to let me know what the load was, and I said, yeah, I'm good to go on that load. Well, the driver manager at that time has to do a step as well. So if he or she doesn't do that step, for instance, and if you don't see it, all you have to do is just call your driver manager. They literally can click a button, and within less than 60 seconds, it'll show on your app. It's probably even less than 30 seconds. I would test it if we had more time and show you how quick it is, but trust me on this, it is very, very quick. And where can we send messages to our DM? So, Gene, good question. Currently, you can't. There's no way to send messages to and from to your driver manager using the app at this time. That is another project that we've looked at. It's kind of on the burner, but nothing in the immediate future. And honestly, it has to do with the retention of information and that is a big undertaking that, again, we intend to look at and intend to pursue, but there's a lot of complications behind it that we have to work out first. So currently today, the answer is you cannot. You can't send any messages to your DM. Another feedback was, is there a way that you can access Carrier's Edge safety videos in the future? The answer to that is hopefully yes. We're working with safety to determine how we can either access the videos or put the videos directly on the app, so that way when you log into your driver app, not only can you access it, but you can see where you stand in the process of looking at those videos and doing whatever it is stuff that you have to do with Carrier's Edge. So yes, hopefully that's coming in the future. Another feedback is, the drivers really liked that you could see, I'm going to show you here, that you could see your hours of service, but your hours of service was only for the current day that you're on. And someone said, well, can we add our 70-hour clock on there as well? And the answer is yeah, we can. That is something that we're going to look into and get that added to that hours of service area. The permits we already addressed. The terminals, I think I had one more on here I'm trying to quickly find. Someone mentioned the accident macro. There it is. So some of you may have saw this where it says report accident, and it's about halfway down on the list on that hamburger menu is what we call it. Our goal for the report accident feature is to not only have you guys be able to fill in specific pieces of information, no different than what you do on the macro today, but also send pictures with that macro. So it'll be something like fill in the information, like where were you at? Is anybody injured? Did you hit the panic button? Stuff like that, right? There'll be things for you to fill out and read, no different than the macro today. But then the next step behind that would be, okay, go ahead and take your pictures and hit send. And then that would be routed to the appropriate people internally here to help you work that accident or incident. So that is hopefully something that's coming in the very near future as well. So again, when that gets put into place, we will definitely report that out to you. And the last thing I want to mention, because we're basically out of time here, is the safety menu. So you don't see it on here just yet. But what we're planning on doing is we're going to add an icon here that's called safety. The verbiage we're not 100% sure on, but probably safety. And what's going to happen here is when you click on the safety menu, instead of seeing these bill of ladings and 1907s and whatnot that's related to your order, you're actually going to see driver's license. You're going to see maybe the COV, certificate of violations, or your physical. It'll give you a list of items that you're trying to scan in specifically to safety and safety only, instead of scanning it into billing. So this way now, if you're at home and you don't have an order, because again, you're on home time, but you had to get your driver's license update, well, as soon as you're done with your getting your picture from the motor vehicle place, sorry, you can scan it in when you get to your car, and you're good to go. You can do it straight from your phone, scan it into safety, and it'll be good to go. And if you have it to do, like you'll see down here at the bottom, there's a quick expiration on here, but if you're said driver's license, you'll know that safety has updated your file, your internal file here, because then this to-do will disappear. Until that to-do disappears, that is your notification that says safety has not processed your driver's license yet, or your TWIC card, or whatever the case might be. On that note, I've got Gannon in my other ear real fast. Did I miss anything? Okay. So he says I'm good to go. I don't see any additional questions on the feed here. So having said that, I will leave you with this. At any point that you guys have any additional questions or feedback that you want to send to Gannon or myself, you'll notice here that the feedback button here is towards the bottom. And when you click on this, you can fill out this information on there. You don't have to fill out every single blank. But if you have questions, comments, just to say this works great or whatever the case is, we want every single piece of information that you guys want to send us. We're looking at it all. We're processing it all, and we hope to get more feedback, because again, this is an app for you guys to use, and at the end of the day, it's a one-stop shop, hopefully, for all your needs. So fill out as much feedback as you want. We'll get back to you as soon as possible when you have it. And thanks again for your time. Appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you out there, and stay safe.